Brothers and sisters, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna address the elephant in the room. Why so many competitive players are leaving this game. We started with Christian Urena being way more interested in Lorcana than Yu-Gi-Oh! Cause of the better pricing, the better environment, and now it's Jess. So I wanna listen her speech and give my thoughts over it.
I am quitting competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! And so are half of or most of your favorite players. And there's a bunch of reasons for this. I'm going to go through my personal reasons. And yeah, we'll have a bit of a discussion because I think there's a lot of things that would need to change to get me back to playing this game. And yeah, I'd like to clarify very quickly. I am still going to be doing content stuff. When I'm back from my little hiatus break, I will be back to doing content, but I will not be attending or competing at events. I will not be at YCS Bologna. I will not be at YCS Lille, and I won't be at any competitive events unless something drastically changes, which I highly, highly doubt.
So to force someone like her to quit this game, I mean, something there has to be something that literally drove Jess on the edge. It's like someone so passionate, right? It's like Jess is so passionate about this game, like you can feel the energy, and to move her to quit this game, it's so sad, like bugs me off, like it actually makes me genuinely upset, and I want to proceed with a speech and see why she decided to quit.
Right, so why is everyone quitting and why am I quitting? I guess I'll go from a personal perspective. I've got a bunch of reasons. I haven't, so this is unscripted, Jess. We're just going raw because I feel like that's the best way to get my perspective across. Let's go through it. So, the direction of game design. I've played for 10 years, and the reason I've played for 10 years is I love this game. Mechanically, it was really complex. The card pool, there was so many interesting things I felt like I could do and discover. And yeah, it excited me. I enjoyed the game a lot, and I kept playing. And it doesn't excite me anymore. With the way card design is going, increased, more blanket effects, like Mulchamis, like Dimensional Shifter, Spooky Dogwood, and Spooky Dogwood time rules is like a whole thing. It just doesn't appeal to me. And then when you combine that with the increasing power level, so the first big point I have is to do with power level with cards like Fiendsmith. So the Fiendsmith engine recently released. We saw it in play at North American Nationals and European.
So first of all, I would like to share the same feeling with Jess about Mulcharme and Spooky Dogwood. When I went to the European Championship, the Spooky Dogwood was the card that if you had not in the side deck, you were not actually competing. There were some deck that could afford to not play time cards, but the time factor became such of a relevancy during these European YCs, and everyone noticed it. Because of the Finchmith being able to bridge every archetype, I mean almost every archetype of relevancy, and also being able to inflict damage on time. So you actually needed a way to protect yourself from being burned on time. Because guys, it's not right now, it's not about slow playing that makes you go on time. It's literally you playing into a board. If your opponent goes first and takes 7 minutes roughly to combo, which is, in my opinion, normal, okay, considering all the combos and lines, 7 minutes, okay, and you play into that board and your opponent takes the turn back to kill you, that's already that goes 20 minutes away. Game 2, Like, let's assume you lose, you go first, your opponent tries to play into your board because he has a time win con, and that's another 20 minutes. You have 5 minutes, burn. Like, that's literally how it went for most of us during the European. And like, if you playing into a board puts you on time, then Spooky Dogwood is literally a tier 0 card. Because you win it, like, because you draw it game 3, you win the match. Talking about the finish mid cards, like, they are a generate power level. The deck, the cards bridge into almost every archetype, and they make, like, they give extra pushes to every deck, especially to the tier 1 contenders. If they were not including the tier 1, I would be fine with them, because we are boosting rogues, or we are boosting tier 2, which makes sense. But if you boost every deck, and give to every deck a time win con, then there is no more skill involved. Because you would say, N3sh, okay, but like, you could manage time. But like, that means that you cannot play board breakers, because board breakers mean that you need to play into a board, and that was also one of my main concerns. If I play board breakers, I have to play into a board. And if I have to play into a board, I'm gonna go on time if I don't win game 1. And I will be on God, drawing the Spooky Dogwood, drawing another win con, drawing Mulchami Phantasme into my Spooky Dogwood. My brod, we have 3 Mulchami, 3 Phantasme in every fucking side deck. Literally check that out. Literally go on the European WCQ and check every fucking side deck. There is 3 Phantasme, 3 Mulchami, 3 fucking Spooky Dogwood. Why? Because no one wants to lose on time in game 3. Oh, and still talking about Mulchami, that's another lingering effect. I fucking hate lingering effects. The card is insane, in my opinion. People like tried to like actually talk about the card in a negative way, or they didn't see the potential of the card. Guys, the card says you go second, and you see Spooky Dogwood. You see Phantasme into Spooky Dogwood. The guys, like, the card is degenerate. Like, or you play board breakers, you see more board breakers. Or your opponent has to do a worse combo, and at that point, like it did its job. Like, it's like, okay, so if my opponent has Witch in hand, right, and I activate Mulchami during the draw phase, right, and my opponent special summons Witch, set original, and then now he has to try to do like a line that gives me that less draw. That means that he's gonna have less bodies on the board, which means that if I draw entrops are gonna be more effective. If I draw board breakers are gonna be more effective. That's how broken Mulchami is. And also in a meta full of bestials, and also with people having Phantasme, you could also main that card. You could also main that card and keep it even going first. And trade a 1-for-1 value best case scenario. But like, again, I do share totally the same feeling with Jess over this topic. The way time is managed during events needs to be addressed. And if someone that was playing Rika for most of the metas is telling you there is a time issue, you probably should take that in consideration. Because Rika wins on time. Most, like, in game 3, if there are only a few minutes on the clock. And this is no joke. And this is also the reason why in Top Cut we don't see anymore the same names, why many players are quitting the game. Now it's Jesse, Jess. Yesterday was Christian Urena, that's moving mostly on Lorcana, or is testing Lorcana. I am literally watching the Discord right now when that motherfucker is playing Lorcana on DB in costume.
European Championships, and we also noticed the consistency of top players doing well decreased massively.
Massive.
Especially for European Championships, we saw hardly any of our like big top players actually in the top cut of that event. And I think that's because of the power level. Because we have the blanket cards just auto win like Dimensional Shifter.
Okay, first
And
lingering.
the power level of cores like Fiendsmith
Okay,
making the game so RNG dependent, like making the game more and more RNG dependent.
agreed.
It discourages you from trying as hard, to be honest, or it discourages me from trying as hard, because if you're the more I know everyone always makes that, oh, Yu-Gi-Oh is super luck based, but like
Okay, let's grab this out. Okay, Yu-Gi-Oh has a luck-based part, but you can always outplay your opponent. Every game has a luck-based part of it. There is a skill part, a luck-based part, and then there is also the deck building part. The way you craft your deck in order to face the meta, the right meta call that's gonna give you an edge. And that's another step. Like that there are many things that can affect you doing well or not well in a tournament. Okay? There are many things. And there is also luck involved. Sometimes you need to be lucky, and there is nothing wrong with that. You can beat the variants by having more knowledge, by having a better deck, by knowing better your combos, by being able to outplay your opponent into a going second strategy. If you are going second and you have to clear your opponent board, you can outplay some interaction and go +1 over +1 over +1 and win the grind. There are many ways to outplay your opponent, really. There were metas that were, in my opinion, way worse than this. I played this game for 20 years, not always competitive, obviously. But I tried to play this game for many years, from 2004 until now, even though I had no monies back in the day, and I had to do my best in order to, being able to play. And I have to say that there were other metas that were even more FTK than this one. But like, from a competitive perspective, this is bad as well. This is bad as well. This is one of the worst. I don't want to say the worst because that would be cap, but like, it's one of the worst. And I think she played for 10 years. So I have to say that she saw quite a lot. She saw quite a lot. But that cannot be the only issue, because if it was just the degeneracy of the card game and blah blah blah, I don't think that would be enough to pull her out of this game.
if a game is becoming more and more luck based and it becomes harder and harder to top consistently, it reduces motivation to play, because you could be the best player ever, but you're less and less likely to do well because
Okay, actually, I want to talk about it, right? Luck-based. People were talking about the tier format being luck-based, and that's the worst cap ever. Ever. Literally, we had always the same names making up the top cut because they were that good. Their edge was that big over any other players in terms of technical plays, in terms of deck construction. And you would say, okay, but maybe 2 cards different makes blah blah blah. The side deck, the extra, that 1 card, that 2 card, that 3 card in the side deck, the strategy, the side pattern, the way they play made a huge difference during the tier format. But here, the end board was kind of guaranteed if you know how to sequence it. So you cannot roll like in tier. Sometimes again there is always luck involved to a certain level. I am not saying that this game has no luck involved. I'm just saying that you can beat the variance if you play perfectly and your opponent does not. Again, like, now we're talking about this format, and this format feels more luck-based because every endboard is guaranteed through interruptions, and it's kind of solved.
that's just how the game is and how the game feels like it's becoming. Also, there's a bunch of other things. I think that goes hand in hand with a couple of other points, such as pricing and Euros.
Finally, we are addressing this. Because as you guys know, if you guys are watching my channel, you wouldn't know that I made top 64 EUWCQ. I got a playmat. The playmat was dirt. I literally rubbed that shit off after my 64. I gifted it to a friend that, like, he enjoys this shit more than me. I was like, that's not happening. I'm not bringing this at all. I'm not giving them the satisfaction to put that shit in my room and show it to the people. I'm not gonna do it. I went to the price wall, I asked, yo, 64. There were 2,300 people. 64th, brother. Like, 64th is not like you would say, okay, Nash, but 64th. Brother, 2,300 people. I got a fucking mat on the table without even the plastic on it. And it was dirt. Top 32, you get a price card that you can sell for $200, my brother. And that's the best, because that's the unsellable glutonia. That's how people are calling it. The unsellable glutonia. And gluteo in Italian means ass. It's closed. And you would say, Nash, but you play for passion. You play because you love this game. You don't play for the monies. I do agree with you. I love this game. I love this game a lot. I love this game and drives me crazy. And drives me crazy that such a big company cannot match the same offer of other games, and we are losing players because of this. Because they cannot match the offer. But Takashi didn't want this game to be involved with monies or stuff like that. My brother, are you actually a real fan of this fucking bullshit? Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 was about gambling and people. So no, if a fucking company can do pachinko machine, they can put scholarship for kids, paying scholarship, not give monies to kids. Give scholarship to kids and give monies to the 90% of the community, because my brother, if you didn't notice it, 90% of this community, it's overaged. We are 25 plus.
Was a huge one for me, because it felt like there was no interest whatsoever in the tournament. Like, if you look online, I looked online after the tournament, or like the morning after, and there's just no interest or hype about the event. Everyone's just, okay, Shifter will try me. No one, or Fiendsmith stuff. The hype is gone. Especially in comparison to last year, or even not European Championships, even events like YCS Bologna, the hype was just there. People were excited about the game. People liked what they saw. And just all the hype and excitement is gone. And on top of that, pricing is one of the most frustrating ones, because it feels like Konami don't care. The format is becoming increasingly bad, and I don't like the direction of card design and the direction that we're heading in. And if you combine that with the fact that I can put hundreds of hours into perfecting my deck.
Hundreds of hours. Thousands of dollars, euros, whatever your currency is on. And being paid with a fucking 100 mat unsellable glutonia, like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
For YCS, go 11-1, let's say, in Swiss, lose first round of Top Cut, and I get a playmat that's impossible to sell. Or let's say I do go to a YCS, and I do win I win the first 2 rounds of Top Cut. I'm in top 8. I get a Nintendo Switch, which doesn't even...
The Nintendo Switch! My brothers and sisters, we're gonna do this summer, 15th of August, a follow with all the Nintendo Switches and all the glutonias. It's gonna be crazy. We're gonna have so much fun together on the beach.
even cover the cost of travel and definitely does not compensate me.
Does
or
not
make me feel
compensate
cared
shit,
about
Jess.
for the hundreds
Does
of
not
hours
compensate
of
shit. No hundreds of
building,
hours,
testing I
nothing.
put in to be prepared for this event. It just feels like I'm not cared about as a player. And I think a lot of people feel like that. We can see players quitting in their masses and switching to other card games like Lorcana, Pokemon, Magic, One Piece.
Kamal on Pokemon. Vincenzo Ruffino that won Vice's Dortmund on One Piece. Christian Urena on Lorcana. And now Jess. Even Ani is testing Lorcana. That's how crazy this shit is. The guy is addicted to Yu-Gi-Oh! And you move that man to test Lorcana. That's all I'm saying.
Because the pricing is better, it does feel like the company cares a bit more. And then on top of that, even outside of pricing, you have things
it's
like...
It's not like they care. It's more about Konami is easy to beat in terms of pricing. Like, it's so much easy to make better prices than Konami. It's that easy. It's that easy. I was running online tournaments and I was doing better prices than Konami when I was in luxury. Like, it was that easy to beat Konami. And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that easy to beat Konami. It shouldn't be.
Pokemon promote their World Championships, like World Championship players, like more with like the Worlds decks, post-Worlds. Magic have the Hall of Fame. And just systems like that where it feels like you're encouraged to be competitive. And in Yu-Gi-Oh! It feels like you're not encouraged to be competitive because you're not rewarded for being good at the game. Like, they don't care if you're good at the game.
They don't.
Like,
they don't.
I guess one of the examples that pushes it for me is I topped the World Championships last year.
And there we go. This is gonna be a huge bomb. I can already feel it. I can already feel my anger growing up. I can already feel myself. I can already see my veins pumping. Top 8 words. Takes a year to grind the point. Takes so much effort, money, testing, hours. Literally, you cannot do anything else except working and except playing Yu-Gi-Oh! If you have a nice job that allows you to take vacations. Now, forget about sex and woman. No, there is none of that. There is none of that. There is no relationship. There is nothing of this shit. If you want to do it seriously and stuff like that, because there is nothing. It's a full commitment time. Full effort, all of your free time, even when you take a shit, you need to think about Yu-Gi-Oh! And how to outplay your opponent and how to build your deck for the next format. The OCG news, you are already on that shit testing 1 week, like testing 1 month before they come out to the news in the TCG. That's how it works. Top 8 at Worlds needs that much effort.
I made top 8 and then I lost first round of top 8.
Okay, first round top 8.
I walked out empty-handed.
Fuck! That's it. That draws the line. That draws the line. How can you not draw the line after working your ass so much and then you walk empty-handed? That draws the line to me. That draws the line for it. That draws the line for everyone. That's it. That's it.
I made it to the highest level. If you can make it to the highest level of the game,
yes,
and then top the event at the highest level of the game and walk out empty-handed,
yes,
it does leave a bit of a sour taste about how...
Sour taste? That tastes like shit, Jess. That tastes like shit, Jess. You are still being too polite, in my opinion. Too polite for that.
There are other reasons, of course. There's a couple. Actually, one point I want to bring up YCS is it feels more rewarding.
Hold up a second. Tokyo Ghoul. Holy. Tokyo Ghoul is insane. Anyways.
To play locals. like spending hundreds of pounds and hundreds of hours.
I mean,
to
depends
go
which
to a race,
local.
yes.
Depends which local you're talking about.
Top and
Because there are many locals that are way more rewarding. Fortunately, I'm in one of those areas in which they have insane locals, and like they pay very well the players if they top or stuff like that. But like imagine you are like in an area that's not as competitive, or they don't care as much about Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that. Like you're gonna get shit pricing. Like, so for her, I guess it's more rewarding to play locals based on her area. But there are many locals that are really not worth to play.
I could go to a 10-man locals, and it feels more rewarding to do well at that because of the pricing. Like, that sounds ridiculous. That coming top 32 in a 2,500 player event feels worse than getting first at a 10-man event. Like, come on. I'm not going to be stopping playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Entirely.
Thank God. Thank God. I would say
I'm
thank
still
God.
going to play.
You're not gonna stop playing the game in a way that does not like kill your pocket.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Casually. It's still mechanically the game that I fell in love with.
I agree.
But I'm done competitively. I'll still be making some content about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Lovely.
But
I'm gonna watch all of them.
I'm also going to make my content a bit more personalized when I come back to it.
Lovely.
So it'll be more focused on, well, me rather than
I'm good with that.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
I like
because
it.
I've lost all interest. Like, they've lost me. There are other factors as well. Things like hate and negativity in community. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is notorious for it, and it does take its toll.
I cannot address that because all the people that I interacted with, or all the people that I choose to interact with, they're all positive. I never met such negativity, so I'm not gonna address it because I'm not part of that niche. So I'm gonna just listen her speech over this.
I think in comparison to other card games, where other card games just feel more welcoming to players, don't get me wrong, I love the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community, and like I have had an amazing year, and I'm super grateful to everyone who supported me and my community. But yeah, seeing the general negativity within Yu-Gi-Oh! Is another discouraging factor. But yeah, so to conclude, design and cards becoming so powerful that the game is becoming more and more RNG dependent, and players are able to top less consistently.
Yeah.
Add to that pricing, so you're not encouraged to top in the first place,
Yeah.
and just generally being, like you're not being encouraged to do well in the first place. The combination of those factors, and then it feels more rewarding to enter locals. That is the reason that myself and many, many Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are just leaving the game. And I think, although Yu-Gi-Oh! Has always had these dooming moments where it's like, oh, the game's over, Links are gonna kill the game. I think
there were always moments like that. Let's be real. Every now and then there are people that come out and say the game is dying, and then suddenly it's doing better than before. It's not one of those scenarios, guys. The game is not dying. The game is not dying. It's just very disappointing. It is just very disappointing. Like, guys, I'm not saying that the game is dying, but Konami is very disappointing. They are very, very disappointing. And it leaves, as she said, a sour taste. And I don't know what it needs to reach them. Like, what does it need to reach them? What do you need to do to reach them? I don't know anymore. There is no way to reach them. Email Konami. No, they don't answer. They never answer. They have a customer service just to bait people. That's it. Like, they do be baiting people with the customer service.
Right now is going to kill the game. But I think irreparable damage has already been done to the player base. Like, I thought I'd always be, like, the last man standing for Yu-Gi-Oh! Because even when people were dooming about other factors, I still love the game.
Yeah.
But they've gotten me. So, who knows? We'll have to see. I don't think this is the end of Yu-Gi-Oh! But I think this is... Unless something drastically changes, I do think this is a step in a very, very bad direction. Anyway, step in a very, very bad direction. This is... Unless something drastically changes, I do think this is a step in a very, very bad direction.
You know the saying, when you look into the void looks into you. That's the same shit right here. And brothers and sisters, this was it for today, for me as well. Leave your thoughts in the comment sections down below. I'm gonna read all of the comments and I'm gonna reply to them as well. This is such a sad moment in my opinion, and I am genuinely upset. This is not right. Have a good day and wish you guys a wonderful night.